What's up, Dills? J-Dog back, bright and early, 6 a.m., goddammit. And it's to finish up the fucking questions that I left off in the last goddamn video. Just didn't want to drag that one out too long, so I'm picking up where I left there. And I kind of did a little bit of, I don't want to say research, but kind of like Googling some stuff. Like, yeah, who are some bands? Like, type in like 1980s, 1990s, and then looking around like my collection a little bit, like to give me some ideas. Because I thought this question was really good. I almost kind of want to make a video on it, but I want to get ideas from you guys first. So let's be probably part of the title of the video. This guy asked a really good one. And it's from J104. Shout out to you, Bra. Never seen you in the comments, and I don't know what J104 the fuck stands for, but thanks for fucking commenting, goddammit. J-Dog, what would you say is the worst metal album of the 80s, 90s, 2000s? Not including Homeboys, Soulfly, Slipknot crap, or metalcore. So in other words, real metal. What is the worst ones? The worst true metal album of those decades. The reason I thought that was a good question, because I'm like, yeah, I don't know. What is it? And the thing is like, when I was starting to search, like, yeah, 80, I mean, obviously thinking Metallica, Iron Maiden, stuff like that, but there's certain bands when I'm starting with the 80s, I'm thinking like, so bands kind of like Anvil, Saxon, St. Vitus. I personally don't really follow those bands. I just think it's okay. It's kind of bands that I heard much, much later. I didn't hear in my teenage years. It was probably my late 20s and stuff, so I kind of like went back and kind of listened to them. And I don't think that stuff sucks or nothing. It's just, they just weren't. You will find it, for example, if you search every, I don't care how much of a fucking diehard metalhead you have. I don't give a shit if you have 5,000 pieces in your collection, whatever. If you search every year's 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, etc., you'll definitely find shit where you're like, oh, most people consider this mandatory metal or respected metal, but you're like, I don't like either own it, I don't know it that well, or they didn't do much for me. You'll always find that. So there's always gonna be those bands. So for example, I like Sacred Reich a lot, especially the first Up to American Way. Like huge fan, the first band I heard. But every now and then people are like, yeah, I thought they were okay, or they passed me up, but didn't do much for me. I get it. I'm not like, what a fucking tool. Like I get it because everybody has those bands. But so for example, like though, say worst bands in the 80s, like starting with the 80s, I wouldn't say like Sax or Anvil just because I didn't really pay much attention to them. But so I'm trying to think like what is something like starting from there, what would be this, and then go to 90s, you know what I mean? Like obviously there's stuff in 90s and that I love, and then also like you're kind of like, I didn't really care about it. And then also ones that I thought, I could definitely find ones that I thought sucked for sure. I mean, but I'm trying to think like what the worst. So I could throw some examples in there, Devils. Like who do you think? Yes, let's say from those three generations, from 80s, 90s, and again, respectable metal that and don't throw in something completely obscure where it's like most people like I don't even know what the fuck this is. You know what I mean? It doesn't got to be as big as fucking Cannibal Corpse or anything like that. But like like if you're throwing like Amorphous, for example, that's an acceptable size band. Shit, people know. You know what I mean? Not something where like, well, what the fuck, man? This band did one demo, nobody knows what the fuck this is, and it's certainly probably not the worst, right? So I guess respectable thing that maybe got a decent amount of attention that you guys think is the worst 80s, 90s, and 2000s. That got me thinking. I'm like, fuck, I don't even. Yeah, again, without if 90s, I'd probably would have just said Slipknot or something. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, he clarified that doesn't count, which I'm glad he did because that's what I always say. I was like, I don't even count that shit because I don't even consider that fucking metal. That's just a whole nother subgenre of fucking garbage. The scene that I'm not even, to me, that's not my scene. I'm not involved in that. That's not what I listen to. When people ask that, my response is kind of literally, I don't listen to that kind of music. Like I consider it the same as fucking grunge or Tupac or country. Don't know anything about it. Don't care to. It's not my thing. If that's your thing, cool, brah. We can still probably be friends if we have other things in common, maybe. But as far as music, we got nothing in common. So yeah, but what do you think is the worst? Because I couldn't figure it out. I really couldn't. Yeah, and I'm definitely curious and be curious. I'm like, laugh my ass off if it's some of my favorites or some like, I agree. That is probably the worst. So put it in there, goddammit. Ricky J talking about 80s bands, and maybe some people don't care about this. Do you have any albums from Metal Church? Sure do, brah. Metal Church is for starters, I think the very first Metal Church album, I think as far as heavy metal is concerned, I think that is one of the greatest heavy metal albums of all time. Again, that is one I did hear very early on when I was a teenager. Remember I said in one video is, when I was a teenager, I only kind of cared about the more extreme stuff, the brutal death metal, the extreme black metal, the grindcore, stuff like that. But there was exceptions like I liked Sacred Reich, Overkill, early Iron Maiden, King Diamond, Merciful Fate. There was a handful of bands. Metal Church, I'm going to be one of those bands too because I heard them. I think I was 14 or 15 when I heard Metal Church, so I was already a fan. So they got that pass. So I really like the first album. I like The Dark, and I like Blessing in Disguise. Outside that, I don't really know anything. I think the latest one I ever heard was Hanging in the Balance, and it was kind of like, I didn't think it sucked, but definitely kind of cheeseball. I don't own that one. I just own those 3. And then I own a double LP of all their demos, which that shit's fucking great too. But the first Metal Church, it's kind of like if aliens came down from outer space and like, what's heavy metal? Where should I start? What's a metal fucking where metal kind of started? In my opinion, I kind of hand them Metal Church, you know what I mean? As opposed to, I think most people would hand them, Black Sabbath or Iron Maiden, which is cool and those would work, but it's just so commercialized now that I'd want to give them a little bit more, something a little bit, not that I consider Metal Church underground, but a little bit more, you know what I mean? A little more, everybody knows who the Black Sabbath, you know what I mean? Everybody knows who the fuck Black Sabbath and Iron Maiden is. You go to the fucking Panini's douche or some fucking jerk off in Walmart, they probably don't know who Metal Church is, but they damn sure knows fucking Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath. So give them something a little bit more obscure. And so I think the very first Metal Church, that would be like, here's what defines heavy metal. This is it, motherfucker. Curls and twirls. Why not contact John Dwyer from Pathos Productions about Dehumanized? I met John once, and I don't want to talk shit because I don't really know the guy, so it's not like I have a bad opinion about him. I get the feeling that would go nowhere. I'll just leave it at that because I've heard other things like with regurgitation, I have problems with him and shit like that. I just have a feeling it'd be one of those. I don't own it. He does. I do own it, but I want $10,000, or I own it. Yeah, you could do it, but I don't have the files, like that type of shit. Where I told you guys, and other things where it's just like, okay, great, kind of got the okay, but I still have nothing to work with. I have because I said I met him once. And I think I did ask him about something, and that's the vibe I strongly walked away with. And like I said, I think it was Brian from Regurgitation tried to work with him on something, and it was a very similar experience. So that's the exact reason why I won it. Again, nothing against him personally. Could be the coolest fucking guy in the world. Not talking shit about him in any sense. Especially watches. Maybe the most death metal guy. We could fucking hang out, eat wings, drink beer, and fucking jam death metal all night. But just on a business thing, that's the vibe I got. I could be totally fucking wrong. So no fucking get any pussies up in a fucking knot. That's just what vibe I got. But hey, if he has dehumanized shit, prophecies foretold. He's got files he's willing to do. He owns the rights. Want to do it on vinyl, brah. So hit me up. Speaking of hit up, guys, I got hit up twice now for these videos, and I'm very, very happy about it. Rotting hit me up. We're going to do the Rotting Crushed album, which I showed you my CD of that. Huge. I've been a fan of that for I fucking love that record to this day. Totally holds up heavy as fuck. Will crush your fucking face. We're going to do that on vinyl. Never been on vinyl before. Keith contacted me. Seems like a really cool dude. Emailed, he saw one of the videos and said, hey, I'm Keith from fucking Rotting. I'd love for you guys to do it on vinyl. And he's going to do the layout, so won't get jammed up in the layout department because our layout department fucking is beyond always fucking behind. So we're scheduled to do that. And another band that contacted me, didn't reply back though. It's only been 2 days though. Lord Gore contacted me too. Shout out to Dylan. Shout out to you, brah. Dylan let him know, and Lord Gore contest because I want to do the first 2 Lord Gore CDs on vinyl. And Gurge contacted me. I don't know what the fuck his real name is, but he said, I know him from Gurge from the album, and he called himself Gurge. So Gurge contacted me, says he's 100% interested. I reply back, let him know we're 666% interested. Who's got files? What kind of deal? Blah, blah, blah. So did it get the thumbs up as far as, again, does he have files and all that other shit? Who the fuck knows? I'll see it when I believe it, but it's looking good so far. So first 2 Lord Gores too. So looking forward to that. And that was the last questions. I'll finish them there. So we're going to go to the next goddamn fucking video. And this is out when I'm still in fucking Phoenix, Arizona. Behind is a motherfucker, like I said, but that's good. Comments 55. This is the Jason Genova thoughts. Oh, that fucking canoe. Fuck, like I said, it feels like forever when I fucking did that video. So goddamn. So see what the fuck's on. Just pulled it up, guys, right in front of you. So I have no idea what the fuck's even being asked on here. So in case anything gets answered, I don't like that question. Tough shit. I'm just going down the line. I'm answering what the devil's asked. Devil's asked, J-Dog answers. Again, some questions I do kind of skip over because it's literally like they'll ask about something I know nothing about. Like, hey, what do you think of this band from Russia that I can't pronounce? I'm like, I don't think anything because I've never heard of them. So sometimes I do overlook them too. So I'm trying to keep this like, you're not staring at my ugly mug for fucking 3 minutes straight looking for fucking questions. So I try to keep it. Fucking goddamn it, stupid ass fucking phone. Fuck. There we go, goddamn it. Nice and straight. Some guys are definitely liking that I'm out in Phoenix, Arizona. They're right. Yeah, I live in Phoenix or half hour from there, so that's cool. But yeah, I was there, bro. Bras. Chances are I'll be going there probably once a year. As yeah, like I said, my sister-in-law lives out there, and she has a newborn baby too. So now that ever since we kind of have her, like we'll probably at least go out visit my niece and nephew and her. And it's not a bad flight at all. It's pretty easy. Like it was just a 4-hour flight. We had a direct flight. Actually, it was like 3.5-hour flight from Cleveland to there, so it wasn't bad. And So I'll probably be going out there probably at least once a year, to be honest with you. So I don't know. Maybe Devil's fucking there. I'll let you know if when J-Dog's in there, you can fucking hound me down, right? Or tell me a good place to meet up or something. I don't know. For sure. I'd love to plan it too. Like if there's ever a fucking show in that town, go to a show in fucking Phoenix because never have, right? Who knows? Maybe Sacred Reich will be playing out there, right? So, but nonetheless, I will definitely be out there more times in my lifetime, assuming that I don't die beforehand. That's pretty good questions. I'm not really seeing much. It's kind of just random shit where it's like, again, like I said, nothing really to even comment on. One guy asked what kind of a CD player and shit I use. Just nothing. I think I answered that once, but I don't even know. It's like a Sony regular single disc CD player. I had a 5-disc player for years. That took a shit, and prior to that, my very early on my teenage years, it was a love hate relationship. I had two 400-disc players where all your discs were in there. Kind of liked it. It had its perks, but it has its drawbacks too. But now I just have a single disc player. This guy's got kind of a book, but kind of a cool question. And I like the name, Deicide Dave. Shout out to you, brah. Talking Deicide, talking my language, goddammit. Hey, J-Dog, got a question for you, goddammit. What are some of your favorite opening tracks to your favorite killer albums? For example, what comes to mind for me? Overkill, Time to Kill, Years of Decay, Obituary, Infected. I really like that song. Infected, I can tell you that. Cause of Death. Obituary, Internal Bleeding, Slow Your Rock. Cannibal Corpse, Staring Into the Eyes of the Dead. Cannibal Corpse, Hammer Smash Face. That kind of goes without saying. It's a little bit hard to fucking beat. Destruction, Curse the God. Actually, yeah, I agree with you. The Destruction, Curse the Gods too, because I think Destruction, Curse the Gods, I think is one of the greatest metal songs ever written in the sense that it's almost like a metal anthem. That and like um Venom in League with Satan. It's almost like kind of like the Star Spangled Banner fucking anthem of fucking metal. That's just how I've always kind of looked at it for those songs, to be honest with you. Deicide, Serpents of the Light, Rigor Mortis, Freak, CP, Celtic Frost. So opening tracks or favorites. I'll look around. Okay, I'm just looking at my wall. So picture this. You said Cannibal Corpse. That's on my Hammer Smash Face. I'll tune that for sure. One for sure. Suffocation, Infecting the Crypts. That's definitely my. That's very very high likely my favorite Suffocation song, especially the Human Waste recording. Immolation, Dawn of Possession. I have pictures on my wall here too. My favorite song on that album is definitely Into Everlasting Fire. So that's Sinister, Diabolical Summoning. The first song on there is what the fuck is the first song? Isn't it called Sadistic Intent? Like the band, or am I drawing a blank? But yeah, that's opening track towards my favorite. For example, Deicide. You mentioned Deicide, Serpents of the Light. I love song Serpents of Light, but that's not my favorite because my favorite song on there is Bastards of Christ. Oh, you mentioned Overkill, the second album, Taking Over. My favorite song on there is Deny the Cross. So opening track there would be my favorites on the album. Merciful Fate, self-titled Nuns Have No Fun, Doomed by the Living Dead. That would be my favorite song. More than likely that. Toss it between Doomed by the Living Dead and Nuns Have No Fun, but probably Doomed by the Living Dead. What the fuck else? What the fuck else? Throw one out that nobody really brings up by obviously a very popular band though was Cannibal Corpse. The album is Skeletal Domain, which I fucking love that album. That's definitely one of my favorite later albums. In the past 5 albums, that probably is my favorite album. I don't know if it's my favorite song on the album, but I love the opening track, High Velocity Impact Splatter. I think that song is fucking phenomenal. So those are some that come to my mind. Favorite tracks, opening tracks. Like favorite song as an opening track on the album. Those are definitely something that come to mind. Go around, goddammit. Another novel but question at end. Okay. J-Dog owning me. I meant it more of an analogy, brah. I don't even know what he's talking about at the moment, but I appreciate the response. Didn't know Dorian is questionable with his doses. It makes sense though. So I remember what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm not saying Dorian's questionable with his doses. It's just, again, with everything. Let's just say the first time you fucking, I don't know, maybe smoking pot's a bad example, but done something that's kind of dose dependent or whatever. You've done it for so long, whatever. Let's say you did it in the 90s, whatever. You're in your I don't know, almost 40 years old now, right? Are you going to really remember exactly what you fucking did back then? I mean, I don't know. I would have a fucking hard time. And again, like I said, like back then they didn't know as much shit, so I don't think he's questioned. Not saying he's questioned because I really do respect Dorian and I'm a big fan of him, so I don't want to put it out like he's a fucking liar. It's just I just find it hard to believe that he remembers verbatim exact dosage of shit when most of the guys back then didn't even know milligrams. They counted by cc's. I just find it a little bit hard to believe. It's confusing with the old school people, as you said, with them using different metrics to the bodybuilders of today. So it was interesting to hear your insight. Could you do a video or maybe two-parter describing your bulk diets, stacks, and training, and same with cutting? Love to hear what you do. I could do a video like that, but yeah, I kind of have. Where somebody asked me recently, like what I do on my diets, because right now I'm dieting. I'm like, I started the right actually since it's out in Phoenix, right when I got back from Phoenix that first Monday. So it was like because we went at the last Wednesday of March, we went out there. We came back that Sunday, which was like April 2nd or 3rd. So that very Monday, I started my diet. And I'm recording this on April 23rd. So I'm like 20 days of my diet. So definitely leaning out by the fucking day. So I could describe how that is. And then could do a video, but I kind of have. I mean, go back and did you watch all my videos? Go around, correct me if I wasn't detailed enough. Let me know. But I'm pretty sure I've kind of answered both on the bulk because like when I started my bulk in January, I think like 3 weeks in or something, I kind of did a video on that, describing what I did. And I'm pretty sure I described really recently. I'm almost positive I did. If I haven't, yeah, I don't mind doing it though. I don't know if it'd be a 2-part series. I don't. Maybe it would be kind of a long breakdown. Maybe it would be. But let me know if I didn't answer. If you watched all my videos, you for sure have watched them all. Let me know if you still have questions because I'm pretty sure I kind of answered those. From Manuel Schizo Lucchini. Shout out to you, bravo. I definitely never seen your name in the comments. Can't even fully pronounce it. What's up, J-Dog? What's your cutoff with Deeds of Flesh? Oh, I like this question. I really like everything until Crown of Souls, but the last ones don't do anything for me. Last one was a cool tribute to Eric, but musically May. My cutoff was Mark of the Legion. That was the last one I own and like. Crown of Souls, no, Reduced to Ashes was the last one that I heard in its entirety. And I'm like, I think I never bought it. I think it came in through Hell's at that time. I'm almost positive it did. I listened to it. I'm kind of bored, but it was Deeds. So I'm like, I'm going to give it a few listens. I think I did listen to it like 4 times for sure. I'm like, it's just tame and boring. So I never picked it up. And that was when it came out. I haven't listened to it since. Didn't listen to anything by Deeds for years and years. I listened to something. It was a much, much later album. I don't remember if it was Crown of Souls or whatever it was, about 3-4 years ago in the shop. Didn't like it at all. I'm like, what the fuck? This doesn't sound anything like Deeds of Flesh. I was like, is this even Eric singing? But I looked it up in the fucking, I looked it up in the insert or whatever, the booklet, and like, sure enough, it was. I'm like, doesn't fucking sound like him, not even vocally. Didn't like it. Wasn't a fan. But I can't sit there and say that after Reduced to Ashes, I've heard all the albums. Maybe they have a couple ones in there I'd like, but wasn't looking good. But Mark of the Legion Down, all those, I fucking love. I actually recently listened again to Gradually Melted, the EP. Even now, I think that's like mind-boggling good. It's just so fucking heavy, and it's just I fucking love that disc. Like huge fucking fan of it. Kobe offer still stands, blah blah. Want to do the first 5 on LP? God damn it, hit me up. From Kepira, have you ever done a bodybuilding show? If not, would you ever consider doing one? I definitely answered that one not that long ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. So go back and listen to that. Blah, blah. I forget what video we've done, but I definitely answered that question because somebody else did ask me that. We're at 19 minutes, so I'll find one more goddamn question, and I will make it the last goddamn question. From Dave M. What do you think about the classic physique division? Seem like it's gaining popularity recently as opposed to open bodybuilding. I like it, but I don't. So on an amateur level, I think it's boring as fucking shit. On a regular pro level, it's not that impressed. At the Olympia level, at the Arnold level, I like it. So guys like Chris Bumstead, Rough Diesel, some of these newer bucks that I'm not even too familiar with. What's his face? The guy that won the 1 year. Funny as I met him before I even knew the fuck he was. The black guy, Breon Ansley. I like those physiques. They're really, really good. I definitely like them. Funny with Brian Ansley. So I met him. I bumped into him at the Alligator Bar in fucking Las Vegas. Vegas when the Olympia was going on. It's the Alligator Bar at the New Orleans. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, New Orleans. That's where the Olympia was always held. It was like the day after the classic physique division was done. It was the very first year. It was when what's his face won, the older guy, drawing a blank. He was the first year's winner. Kessler. I don't know his name. You guys, you look it up. You know who it is. I forget his name, but anyways, and I think Brian came in 4th or 5th in that show. And he sat at the bar and just kind of, I was like, hey, man, what's up? I could tell he was a bodybuilder or whatever. It's like, yeah, he's like, I just got done competing yesterday. I was like, oh, yeah, you do the show. I was like, what did you guys? I could tell he wasn't an open bodybuilder because he was definitely smaller. And, yeah, I competed in, classic physique. I was like, oh, yeah, that's a division that just started. I was like, how'd that go? Like, where'd you place? So I got, like I said, 4th or 5th. And he was really, really friendly guy. Never met him. We're just sitting there drinking a beer together, kind of like just hanging out. And then, anyways, time flies forward. I was going to the second year. And I saw him doing interviews and shit, like maybe with muscular development or whatever. Like, oh, fuck, that's that guy. And I started like looking at photos. I was like, he's got a really damn good physique. And then the following year, I actually did watch the classic physique show this time in person because I kind of knew what it was. And I'll listen, we'll get there a little early and watch that because I was mainly there just for the open and the 212 division. So I watched that and I saw him and I thought he had a great physique and he won that year. So it's pretty cool. And I'm like, oh shit. I mean, he wouldn't remember any of this. No fucking way. Damn sure doesn't give a fuck about no J-Dog. So, yeah, I like it at the Olympia level, it is impressive and it's good. But outside that, like I said, especially at the amateur level, it's like guys that are at best my size. A lot of them are smaller than me. And I know this for a fact because I know guys that compete on amateur level, whatever, and I'm definitely bigger than them for sure. And so to me, like, not that that's anything wrong with it. It's just, to me, it's not impressive. I'm like, I mean, because if it's something that's like lower than yourself, it's like, well, I'm not fucking impressed. But at the Olympia level, shit like that, their shape and proportion and symmetry, shit like that is just their genetic fucking, if you want to call it God given, which I don't like to talk about that piece of shit. Just God given genetics of what they have underneath that they peel off all the fat and fucking build up muscle. It's impressive at that level. So I do like it that. But again, outside because even though some of the other pro shows to get to the Olympia, I'm kind of like the top 2 guys. I'm like, yeah, they're pretty damn good and pretty impressive. Outside that, I'm kind of like some of the guys I never heard of. I'm like, not that impressed. You know what I mean? As opposed to open bodybuilding at pretty much any pro show, even some of the newer guys I never heard of. Sometimes you go to like, I don't know, the fucking Chicago Pro or whatever, and there's like 5 guys I never heard of. I'm like, even they're fucking impressive because they're all fucking behemothly big, or some might be excruciatingly shredded and big, and like, you know what I mean? So even at that level, that's why I always like open, just because it's so freaky and you don't see it on a regular basis by any fucking stretch. Some people never even see it in their entire lifetime. So I kind of like that because it's kind of like a circus act, you know what I mean? It's extreme. That's why I got it kind of like with death metal and stuff. I just think I liked extreme shit, you know what I mean? And open bodybuilding is very extreme, and you have to do very extreme shit to get there. And it's probably why fucking half the guys are dying like left and right these days, it seems like, right? Nonetheless, that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts on it. At those 2 levels, I think I like it, but outside that, it's not very impressed. But yeah, that's it for this one, Devils. Just under fucking 25 goddamn minutes. So cut it off there. Leave all the goddamn questions and comments. You know how we do it. Leave them, put in the fucking comment section. I'll get them fucking answered. And see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. Later.